Hello and welcome back to Leeds United. I've played through December and we're ready for the 1st of January. And it's Manchester City and Chelsea. No big deal, no problems. Haaland's back. Haaland's back. You remember when I said he'd only scored like 3 goals in the first 8 games or whatever it was? Yeah, he scored 5 in a match recently. 5. Admittedly, they have just lost to Southampton sort of out of the blue, but in the previous 3 games, Haaland has scored 9 goals. It's 10 goals in the last 4 league games. I'm scared. I kind of forgot they'd acquired Dominic Calvert-Lewin. As for us though, we kind of got through December relatively okay. We were FM'd by Tottenham. Both teams had a penalty and they scored an extra goal, which, you know, tends to help. 88th minute, Højbjerg. Just realised this page isn't the normal way around. Bottom left side. Yeah, XG of 3.5 to an XG of 2. And bear in mind, both sides had a penalty there. So we did beat Split 3-2. Again, somewhat FM'd. They didn't deserve 2 goals. We did fully rotate though. Middlesbrough 2-0, Wolves 2-0, Norwich 3-all. They got a 92nd minute equaliser by way of Grant Hanley, of all people. Their first goal was one of the most annoying ones because it started very positively because I noticed the beginning of the highlight started with one of my pressing forwards coming back into our own half and getting the ball, like dispossessing the opponent. Why can't the inside forwards do that effectively? Why do you have to do a pressing forward just to get a person who actually performs like an inside forward? It's very annoying, but 3-all against Norwich. All that means is we're still 7th. We're 7th with a game in hand on the team behind us, thankfully. Youth intake preview isn't positive. We have a top prospect in the central midfield, and that is it, really. There's a handy prospect on the wingers, which usually just means they're probably going to be 3 stars. The ones from last year aren't really developing. This guy's got some physicals now, at least, and our pre-existing youth prospect kind of broke himself, I think, at some point early in this season. But he's still only 17, so fingers crossed he'll be all right long term. League One standard, as things stand. And of course, he now actually finally has homegrown. No, not quite yet. 68 days. Can't even loan him out in this window. I've accidentally clicked on Van den Boomen, but it's worth actually saying at this stage, I did mention the first hat-trick of the entire FM cycle happened during the beginning of this season. It was Van den Boomen, just in case you hadn't spotted that on your own accord in the schedule list. Yeah, Bamford may have got a hat-trick against OFI, but Van den Boomen did it in the other fixture, because of course he did. I did actually rotate against Norwich, so the fact we still scored 3 goals was quite nice, but conceding 3 was slightly less nice. Melier, Ndicka, Strike, Sotalo, Skov, Adams, Armada, Livramento, Bamford, Pedro, Milovanovic. We're full strength again. Good job, because here comes Haaland. It's somewhat of a shame that this save probably isn't going to last long enough for me to reacquire Haaland back at Leeds. I say reacquire, you know what I mean. Bring him to his spiritual home. He just won Player of the Year, because of course he did. Even though actually his 2023, as it would be, wasn't great. He tailed off at the end of last season, and then the very beginning of this season wasn't fantastic. He's only, just had a fantastic December, and that's about it, really. But there's De Bruyne, and there's Rodri. Somewhat confusing, he is listed as Rodrigo in the match engine, because I think he's playing for me, even though I sold Rodrigo. Sotalo, Melier, Ndicka, Iniesta Adams. That's aimlessly hoofed to Edison, who's come out way out of his box, and it's, oh dear. See, that felt like that was about to be punished. But, oh, there's Pedro. Is Pedro going to punish him? Edison's still sort of out of his box. He has sort of punished him. Well, he has punished him. He scored, but not in the way I was expecting him to. I more meant, long-range strike, capitalise on the fact he's out of his goal. He sort of made it a little harder for himself, I guess, but drew Edison in a little bit more again, I suppose, because he did manage to get back most of the way. And there's Pedro with the lovely chip, I'll call it. Skov on a free kick. Oh, he's gone straight for it. Good save. Skov. Just seeing Arsenal playing Leicester. News from the West Ham front, in case you were wondering what happened post David Moyes. They hired Brendan Rodgers. I'll be honest, I'm getting fed up with the message saying that there's too much space between our strikers and our midfield. That is the space between my striker and my midfielder. Do people who play 4-4-2 get that message? Because it's exactly the same principle. How many formations don't have an attacking midfielder of some kind in them? Quite a lot. Base 4-3-3, base 4-4-2, 4-1, 4-1-4-1. How can you be telling me I have too much space between my attackers and my midfield? Especially when the pressing forwards come back into our own half on defence. You can actually see the average positions. It's the left-hand side in particular that seems to come back. Sotalo's been broken. Someone's broken Sotalo. I've just seen it. He's recovered a little bit. It looks like Cucurella and Kufal smashed each other in that game. And we do go into half-time 1-0 up. It's worth remembering there. I had sort of slipped my mind. All right, second half. Skov. There's Bamford, and there's a heavy touch, but he's maintained the ball, and he's just kicked it to Ruben Diaz. But Adams has capitalised on a heavy touch. Milovanovic is there. He's hit the post. Wasn't even offside either. Yeah, Satalo, a little injured. Cresswell on. We'll make that change now on 55 as a highlight. They have actually changed the ridiculously bright box, although that might be a skin thing. I don't know. That wasn't the end of that highlight. I forgot to mention the ridiculous situation at the other end of the Premier League right now, where there's 4 teams. Well, I think there's 3 teams in 8 and 1 team on 9, and then the next team above them's on 18 points. Basically, there's 4 people trying to be like the least worst as Bamford goes close. Is that not the end of that highlight still? Blimey. There's been 2 shots in this highlight, and it's still not over. Bamford, Adams. Where are we going with this? That's Pedro through the middle. And he's missed. The worst shot of them was the actual final one. 67 on the clock. I'm just looking at Almada, maybe. I do have to make all 3 subs in the last highlight, last change now, because I just remembered 3 windows. But that shouldn't be an issue. It's probably both fullbacks and Adams, which we will do now. Adams is having a good game, which is annoying, but Melee kicks it out to Plattenhart. That's nice. That's a good start. Come on, Marvin. There's Bamford. He's hit slightly hard, but he has maintained possession. I was concerned about that. Plattenhart's coming in. Is Plattenhart going to have a shot himself? No, Rocker is. There's a pun there, and my brain just paused whilst I was processing, I guess. It's been a long few weeks. But yeah, nice layoff from I say nice layoff. Yeah, tease it up for Rocker. First time. Smash. And it's 2-0 at the Etihad. What is happening? I mean, even if they score here, 2-1 up is a praise, I would suspect. Strike gets that weirdly bad pass. Undika. That's out to Christensen, who is unmarked. Milovanovic is now free as well. Sort of covered off a little bit, but Pedro's in the middle and he kicks it straight at Edison, unfortunately. Praise the lads. It's Plattenhart with a corner. We don't score many of these. We did score another throw-in recently, you know, in the same way that we scored one in the last episode. So for some reason, that appears to be a relatively good output of goals. We've had 3 from that throw-in technique this year. Undika, Plattenhart, aimless to Walker, Rodri, Cancelo, concerned, Rodri. That's Bernardo Silva if he's onside. Gundogan. It's being referred, and well, I didn't even get any further follow-up there. It just wasn't a goal. I've got a weird feeling just because we're in injury time. Yeah, there we go. There we see it. Oh, he wasn't that far offside. He looked further than he was in real time. But unbelievably, we've won 2-0. We deserve to win, though. XG 2-1, kind of. And we've still not played that game in hand against Brentford yet, and I don't know when we do. Melee made 10 saves. I'd be annoyed if I was Pep. Right then. Everyone seems to be relatively okay. I might regret this when we play Man United in another couple of days, but I'm only making one change, and that's Almada for Aronson, because I want to see how well he works, because his Mazzala, perfect. It's his best role on his page, and I've kind of forgotten about him now we've switched back to these 2 midfielders. If he can impress me, then he won't go on the chopping block, because we absolutely need to cut down on midfielders now. It feels fairly evident that this is our formation going forward, so we basically need at most 5 central midfielders, of which now Almada is 1. I like Rocker as a left-footed one. I like Tyler Adams as sort of the lead on the left-hand side. His left foot is fairly strong, whilst not being fully strong. So I do like Adams and Rocker for the left. And I do like Almada on the right for now. So it's basically second choice on the right, which is probably going to be Andre Santos. And then there is that 5th spot completely free and open. So Van den Boomen, Gagliardini, Aronson are fighting for one place, really. As someone just went close there, didn't see the player. It's a chance for Chelsea, although headed clear. Chilwell's going to get the rebound and smash it in. First goal of the season, because of course it is. We could do without the gap between our midfield and our forwards. Would you be saying that if we were playing 4-4-2? Honestly, I'm getting fed up of that. Is there a button where I can just get my assistant managers to shut up? I say assistant manager. There's still 3 of them. I have to wait until... I don't know why we start with 3 assistant managers for 1 assistant manager spot, but I have to wait for another one to run out of contract so then I can just sack 2 of them and then I can finally replace the remaining one, because they're all terrible. That was terrible from Adams, speaking of as well there. Brilliance by Leeds, apparently. Didn't go in the goal though, did it? Mount on a free kick, this is going in. Headed to safety, Coop Miners. Nice to see you again. Gallagher. I say nice to see him again. I don't think I've ever signed him, but he was very prominent sort of the year before last and the year before that. Not quite as prominent last year, if I remember rightly, but Bamford heads on to nobody. Still a problem. I can make the formation better, but I can't make the players any better or the match engine work any better, unfortunately. It's still terrible. And half-time, we are being run off the pitch. After outclassing Manchester City, we're struggling against Chelsea, who are our rivals, let's not forget, apparently. Tatalo. Where are you going with this one, Sunshine? Milovanovic. Aronson puts Milovanovic back in again, and he's actually through that defence. And scores. It was a cheeky shot. It took its time getting in that goal, but it's in the goal. 1-1. Love that for Milovanovic, though. There he goes. The big man, of course, but just dinks Edouard Mendy and just enough pace to evade a goal line clearance from the defender. So good work there. I forgot what Milovanovic's first name is, but Skov to put the ball in. Satalos at the back post. That's over. Marco. I knew it began with M. He's not really developing as much as I thought he would. Adams is booked on a 6.5. He's coming off. Livermento's on a 6.2 somehow. Christensen on. I can only assume that Livermento was blamed for their goal somehow. Mendy, Chalobah, hoofed, and Dicker shall get that. Adams, useless. Gallagher, Abada, headed on, and Dicker's in the way again. This time it's Harrison to safely give it back to Strike for now, but Sitalos hoofed it forward. Thankfully, their defenders just run away so Milovanovic can get it, and there's Pedro, straight at Mendy. Good to know that the AI defence isn't infallible either. Oh, they brought Lukaku on. I forgot that wasn't a permanent loan to buy again. Gallagher, good save by Melier. I kind of almost forgot that Lukaku would be back. And Bamford's injured. Tell you what, it's been a while though. Asprilla in. Aronson's actually having a good game. He was the assist. Skov is nervous. Okay, Planart, calm this one down, shall we? And Pedro's not having a good one. Do we bring Sinistera on for Pedro and then swap them over? I think we do. Melier, forward safely to Strike. There's Aronson. Wingbacks in acres of space. Sinistera's slow things down annoyingly a little bit. But Christensen's still in a spot of space to put the ball in if he wanted to. He didn't. Satalos the one to give it to Rocker. Platanart in space on this left-hand side. Marvin, that's not what you're here for, but we'll take it. A superb team goal. Don't know why I said superb weird there. A superb team goals in the text. It was rather. I mean, weird, but great. That's not what Marvin's here for. He's here to do set pieces and things, but we'll take an in-play goal. James, Chilwell. Oh, God, he's in space again. That didn't feel like the highlight. Mount's been injured, but he's still on the pitch. Ah, there's Pulisic with his second goal of the season. Pulisic, sorry. I love the fact that the second they score, a thing pops up saying, statistics say we're in control of this match. Thanks for that. Clearly not. Why is Pulisic... Hang on, why has Pulisic got number 6? I don't really care about shirt numbers all that much, but that one seems like an offensive number. There's disagreements about who has number 6, but neither way is it a winger. Satalo. I'm in the firm belief that you do 1 to 4 on the back line. Sinistera, 1 to 5, sorry, I should say. Oh, Milovanovic scores. Thank you, Mendy, for messing that one up. Do I praise at this stage? After they've just scored? Sinistera with the assist, and I do like the fact that Sinistera is now sort of involved in the team again. It's one less person I'm probably going to have to cut. Having to retrain Harrison as a striker now, just to hopefully have him have some use going forward. But I gave him a new contract, just largely so he didn't leave at the end of the year on a free. Probably going to sell him in the summer. Fortunately, as much as I like Harrison, doesn't really have much use. Oh, they're playing 4-4-2. I wonder if their assistant manager kept shouting, there's too much space! And we win 3-2 after all that. The fans should be liking that win. The gap at the bottom of the Premier League is actually annoyingly now a lot less hilarious. When we started today, this was 8-8-8-9. I think Burnley were the 9, actually. Oh no, Middlesbrough probably were the 9, because look, they've got 4 points in the last 2 games. That's it. Still got a game in hand on Chelsea, so that wasn't the game in hand. I thought that might be in the game in hand because we were playing midweek, but everyone's played on this particular day. Oh, that's the game in hand. It is against Man United. Cool. It's the next one, basically. As for this, I'll bring you back after the transfer window has closed. So we won't play Manchester City again in an episode. We'll do Aston Villa, depending on how much there is to talk about. There's things already in motion. Sales. No incomings yet because I need the money. I'll see you at the beginning of February in-game. Don't know why I had to clarify that. Obviously, I'm not going to wait 3 months for the next episode. That'll be shortly. But if you enjoyed this, do give it a like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Help the algorithm, help the channel in all that way. As of recording, we're actually really close to a milestone, so I would really appreciate those at this particular moment in time. By the time this goes live, who knows if I'm already past it or not, but as of recording, very close. Until next time, ta-ra.